right? So that is how it is. But right now you still have to study old books. And you have to give the exam. But when you go to the market, you will see that there's a gap. Whatever we have studied, that might not be directly used. That would be useful. Directly useful. You have to see that how you can make this degree for your employment. So just I wanted to thank SOB sir. So Teli sir is always in contact. He's always trying to push something, trying to bring something new for the students. I remember हमारे टाइम में एक थे एक्सटर्नल क्वेश्चंस लिखने मुझे नहीं थे और उसे भी तो हम लोग ज़्यादा बात नहीं करते थे. I remember my time I come from another background, so I studied 12th till Marathi medium and then come back here. I did not have a confidence to talk about it, talk in English. Right now I'm standing here, so it has taken some time saying that immediately or that confidence or that vocabulary hard, but you have to put your best effort. Now when you start hearing final year, right? Have you already started appearing for this placement?
Yeah.
How many are placed from this classroom? Congratulations and all the best to the other students. Okay, so let's come back to the SAP topic. So I just want to know how many of you are aware about SAP? You can just raise your hand. I'm not saying what is SAP, that is my next question, but have you heard SAP? Everyone?
Yes.
Now my next question is, what is SAP?
Something products.
Anyone can? Yeah, go ahead.
Stack.
Yeah, I feel. Okay. Anyone else? What is your syllabus as a part of this? In that we have ERP. What will be my ERP? Now I'm going to one back. What is ERP?
Enterprise.
I will explain.
Enterprise Research Plan.
So SAP is one of the players. So SAP is company. For example, we have mobile phones and then we have different brands, right? Like you have MI, you have Samsung company. Similarly, SAP is one of the companies which provides the software to manage ERP. Now ERP, like you said, enterprise business planning. So why ERP is required? So it to maintain or plan end-to-end operations of a company, enterprise. The agenda overview of ERP. I started now ERP. First we will look at the umbrella, then we go for it. So SAP, landscape, features, and how this can be relevant for you. Like most of the people ask a question when I tell them that ask why you are, right? But it's not that I'm completely switched my background. So I still make use of my whatever learning I have done, because my in SAP there are different modules. So my module is production planning and quality management. So production planning, whatever we do, right? MRP, we have learned quality planning, quality assurance. So those principles are there. So since I come from mechanical background, I know better about these principles, and then my job is to make these principles or the processes in a software, so that business can use or make this process into using the SAP or any other ERP. That is my job as a consultant. So it's not the fact that it is not clear the correct that when you say that okay you are a mechanical engineer but you are working IT, still you can make use of whatever you have done. So yes, we started with ERP. So ERP is, like you said, enterprise resource planning. It focuses on all department processes and operations. So all departments. So you now most of you are aware about the startup culture, right? So whenever you start up any company, what are the different departments you will need? Suppose you want to start a automobile company, finance, right? Marketing, production, planning, procurement,
Logistics.
logistics,
Inventory. Inventory.
HR. You need HR because you have people working. You need to process their salary, everything. You need HR and rest of the department. Like you have, it comes to production, then you have a quality management. Then you have a supply chain management. Everything will come into that. So inventory will come into it. Then you have a logistics. Then you have a transportation. Everything will come. So the using ERP, why people or the companies are going for ERP is that if you use one software, it gives solution for all the functions. So it will have all the modules. So that's why ERP is being preferred. And right now, so you can say that it gives complete real-time and consistent. So earlier, when there was no internet, right? So for example, right, if you decide that we will have a headquarter in Mumbai, we will have one plant in Taloja, one plant in probably North, one plant in Goa probably. So what will happen if it is not, if it is not real time? What will happen if you are the CEO and if you want to see what is the inventory, so you can't call three logistics supervisor, right? You will call Goa, you will call Taloja, and call the other person to ask the inventory. So the solution is ERP. So you will just log in, like you will log into the mobile or any app as such. You will log into the ERP and you will see. So each location is identified by a plant code, or a warehouse is also identified by a unique code. So as soon as you run a report, you will get an inventory for each plant. How much is the inventory, and that is the real time. That is the power of ERP software. And it manages the large management business. And again, though it might, I remember we had some database topics also, because in the first year we had Java, C++, and then GUI also, right? VB, correct? Have you studied or not? In first year, C++, right? Yeah. So you must be aware what is the background. So this is the front end. Whatever you use on the mobile is the front end. The back end, there is a program. So you have an input to something, some user will input. So suppose 10 automobiles are produced. So you will enter that, okay, 10 automobiles, which configuration, which color. So that will be input. Then the storage. So that data will be stored. Manipulation, suppose you want to transfer the inventory. Suppose there is no demand at Goa. So you will transfer this inventory to Taloja or somewhere. Okay? So that will be a manipulation. And the output. Suppose anyone wants to see the report, so that will be the output. So these are the basic functions of a database program. So at any front end, backend will be supported by the database. So I think this we have already covered. So when it comes to an ERP, since it is end to end, okay. So you will see that all the functions has to be covered which are required for an enterprise, and then planning and execution is the central part. So manufacturing, distribution, marketing, finance, sales, human resource, engineering. Again, engineering R&D is very important. So it's not that today we decide that okay we have to start and we have to produce. Unless and until you have done research, market research, okay, what is the requirement of the customer? What types of cars are being preferred? ऐसे नहीं कि अभी आप लोग ambassador produce करना, correct? Of course, that will also have market, but that will be limited. You have to give some digital functions also in the car. So engineering, then materials, and then manufacturing. So these are all the facets of the year. So what are the benefits that we already discussed? Common set of data. So irrespective of wherever you are located, so that is the main advantage. Now this is a expansion era where you can't operate only on one location. So most of the time you will try to expand, right? Probably in the foreign like US, Europe, or somewhere. So this ERP gives you an age. There are different time zones also, right? So right now we are at the different IST time zone, but Europe is running at the CET and different time zones. So, but this ERP will be real time. So irrespective of the different time zones, you will get the same information. So that's very important. Just one single truth. So either I log in or you log in or anyone log in, we will see the single same information. Allows cross-departmental talk. So I remember when I was working in this Taloja, in a manufacturing, it was a soap manufacturing, I was in maintenance department for a year. So there are departments, and then suppose you want any information, so you will go to their desk, you will ask them that, okay, do you have electrical inventory or do you have pumps in the standby or something? But now, since this is an ERP, you can directly go into the system, log into the warehouse, and you can check what is the inventory available. So you know it gives the advantage. And also, good business practices, easy scalability. So this covers the expansion part. Yeah. Now, what are the ERP applications? So as I said, SAP is one of the applications, and it is a market leader because it has been a long. Probably it was founded in 1972, and right now almost 50 years have passed. So SAP is market leading, but there are competitors in the market. For example, you have Microsoft Dynamics from MS, Microsoft company. Then you have PeopleSoft, you have Oracle as well, AP4. And there's one Java, Microsoft .NET there, and JD Edwards is there. So now, how do you differentiate or how do you decide which ERP application will you go for? So it depends on the customer and the budget. So since there will be some small players and some bigger players. So when you go to to a mobile shop to buy, so you will have a budget, right? It's not like that. There will be cases where you have unlimited amount in your account and you say that, okay, give me a highest mobile which has the highest cost, like probably you go for the latest mobile. But there will be people that they will have some budget. So they will look for an Android phone, and then again you will go for certain limited features, like you need a good camera only or a good sound system, like that. So that is the criteria you will go for. So first is the very important is the budget. Based on that, customer goes for it. So mainly Fortune 500 companies are there. They will be using SAP for sure. And whenever they will acquire some company like a smaller player, you know, right? Acquisition and merger. Yes. Okay. So acquisition is when a bigger company acquires a smaller company. That is the acquisition. And merger is when
both collaborate.
Yeah, two companies merge and create a new entity. So that would be a your merger. So that happens. So sometimes when acquisition happens, the smaller entity is on a different platform. So for example, they are using Java. But now, since this is a bigger company, they have a budget, so they will want them to be shipped on their SAP platform. So now there will be a different project coming all together because they have to migrate the smaller company to the bigger platform. So these are the main players, but SAP is the main market leader. Yeah, so I just wanted to put forward a market statistics. So you can see that the main thrust of this slide is ERP software market rate by $117 billion by 2030, and right now we are sitting at 2024, right? So whatever is the current market, it will go on increasing. So because there is an increased use of internet, now we are going into different eras, right? We started from 2G. Right now we are at
5G.
5G. Great. You have already got the 5G connection. Good. So 4G, 5G, and then it will only go on increasing. Now we have coming up different technology. Like I said, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Everything will come together, and unfortunately, and it will go on increasing. And also, if you look at this graph, you will see that hybrid cloud and on-premise. So anyone can attempt what is cloud, on-premise, and hybrid?
On-premise.
Anyone can answer. What is cloud? You must have heard of it.
Collection of servers.
Okay.
This is the database.
Okay. And what is on-premise then?
On-site.
What is premises? You say no, college premises and
Company.
company premises. On-premises is like you have servers and everything in your own premises. So for example, when I walk into this ground floor television cabin, right? So there's a big servers kept. So that is like in on-premises. So everything data is not stored on the cloud or not stored at somewhere third entity. It is stored in the premises also because you have a bigger control. So you don't have a chance that okay someone will hack or something, right? It is on-premises. You can see out of 100%, 71% is still on-premises because there are some advantages. You have a better control. Suppose something goes wrong, you can go and you can have repair it and everything. That is on. Now human trend is coming up on new technology, the cloud. So you don't own any infrastructure in your company. Okay. So for example, MS Office. You are using MS Office for projects and everything. So if you remember earlier, we had to install the software. But now, if you open any file, you can use the browser, and you still open. You can work like the same way. So it has avoided the installation. Whatever the memory your laptop was occupying, that is freed, and someone else memory was being is being occupied. So that is the cloud concept. So that is also there is another concept of SaaS. Have you heard of SaaS? SaaS. No. SaaS is the software as a service. So you don't have to install it. You just use it. It's like a MS Office. So whatever you are using on a browser, that is a software as a service concept. And hybrid is you say that okay, I want to use both on premise also and cloud also. So that is a hybrid. So, but you can see majority of the on premise. And the North America is your dominated US is the main area. And the good part is you can see manufacturing is the leading segment, right? So when manufacturing is there and manufacturing want to use ERP application, so basically the opportunity is there for the mechanical engineer, right? Because you know the processes and once you learn the software, it's just a part of thing that you know you need to know the what are the transactions, what is how to do what, right? So that is a good opportunity for all of us. Yeah, this is another research I have put that it says that SAP is the leader. You can see, so Gartner is the research industry. It's a company and they do the research. So what they have done is they have done a research of many ERP providers and they divide this quadrant into different depending on their providers. They divide different players. So you can see that SAP is leader. Along with SAP, you have Info, Microsoft, and the Oracle. And the other players are there. Okay, before this, I'll just stop. And do you have any questions so far? Last bench. Okay, no questions? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
You were saying there were multiple layers in the ERP. Like, how different are they from like in terms of
Basic features, you can say. First, you will see that one product starts and they will start the same thing. But the advantage in president cost. Suppose SAP is leading from 1930. Now there are new players. They will play on what ground? They will play on the cost ground. Because it is a startup, they have a lean team and everything. So it totally similarly depends on the customer what they want to do. Sometimes, sometimes like I'll take the same example. If we are going for a new mobile, sometimes we are open to buy a new brand, right? But sometimes some people will say, no, I want to try. I want one mobile which is tried and tested, right? So that's the same criteria applies for the ERP software also. Some company, for example, bigger company, HPCL, for example, big Navratna, Maharatna company by India, right? So they will say, I don't want to take risk by going for a new vendor. I want the market leader as a SAP only. They will go for SAP. So some startup company, suppose you start up some company and you want to manage your ERP application, you might not afford SAP. You will say that, okay, let me go for another vendor which is in my budget. Or also, what SAP did is now, SAP realized that there is a potential in the lower scale also. So they have started one SAP Business One probably that's the application they have, which is lower cost for the smaller MSMEs companies. Yeah, startups or MSME medium scale companies. They have started this one also, so that they can capture the lower market also. Okay. Yeah, now when we have looked at the umbrella maker, what is happening, now the next is what is SAP. Okay. So yes, SAP is the acronym. So whenever you talk about SAP, I think since it is the abbreviation, you don't say like a class or something, right? So whenever it is the abbreviation, you say SAP, the initial letter. And then you have the system application and product in data. This was long. Now they have abbreviated as the SAP, and that's the same company. So we have a company name as the SAP only, and the software is also SAP. From a German company, it was founded in 1972 and worldwide. So RD, so there were different tiers. So like we have a floors 1, 2, 3, 4. So similarly in technology they had different tiers. So when they started with the tier 1. So they used to call it R1, R2, R3. So R3 was their main highlighted version. So it is called as the core of business. And now they have devised the next versions of it. Yeah, so that is what I was talking about. So if you look at the evaluation of SAP, so like we have different versions, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, when we started with R1, then you have R2, then you have R3, and R3 is also called the core enterprise core. So you will see at this moment many vendors or many companies are using SAP, and now in 2015 they launched SAP Expert. Okay, so this is the latest version because they introduced the many latest technologies like they have a cloud computing and email. But you will see that in fact currently I'm working for which client they are still operating on ECC. They have not shifted to S4HANA because it has a cost. So similarly, that plays a big factor. So there are some companies which have a IT budget, so they have gone for S4HANA and they are operating on S4HANA. But there are still some companies which are using ECC. Yes. So what are the key features? So basic features of ERP also being applicable to SAP. So like I said, since most of the companies operate in a multinationally, right? Different geographies. So you have to have a support to language, multiple languages. For example, now if we are operating in India, so standard business language will be English. But suppose my another client is operating in Mexico, so they will have a Spanish language. Since similarly the other languages. So SAP provides same documentation or same support to multiple languages. So you don't have to do the manual translation. Whenever you prepare any document in English language, other user logins in a Mexico, sorry, Spanish language, he will be able to see all the content in a Spanish language. Then again the geography. So you can see the single can be used across several geography. Then the currencies also. So similarly, we are using fees, right? So the other countries will be using dollar, or for example, Europe would be using euros. So they have the conversion rates stored. So whenever if I put some money as like 1,000 rupees, it will be automatically converted for the US colleague in dollars. So that is how this basic groundwork avoids. So that you get a support. You don't have to pay attention to these small things. Once the basic is in place, immediately all the things are taken care of. Then the business processes. So since SAP has been working with the different clients, it's not working only one client in manufacturing, right? So it will be working with multiple clients across the world. So they will know what are the best practices. Like you must have heard Kanban, CIT just in time, right? So these are the practices you have learned in theory, but how you will implement those with the help of software. So SAP has already a solution for Kanban. So one bin gets empty, immediately the signal is sent to the warehouse to fulfill that bin, and immediately that signal will be triggered. Then the scalability. So suppose you want to scale from one location to multiple locations, so it's the scalability. Okay. So SAP landscape. So this is more of a IT part, just a background. So whenever there are three versions. So you giving an example of app. So whenever you develop an app, you don't directly release to the users, right? You you do the testing, correct? So that's the same part. So there are usually in any client you will see there will be three instances. First will be the development, where you will do the development or the configuration. So for example, there will be three warehouses. So each warehouse will be identified by each code. So for example, I have three plants in Mexico. So one will be MX01, MX02, MX03. So you start the configuration from development, then you move the objects to the testing. So here business users will do the testing, they will give the feedback that okay, all is good or no. So if it is not good, then again you will go to the development, you will rework on it and then test it. So once testing is fully completed and business gives a sign off that okay, testing is fully completed and as per our expectation, then only you go to the production. And the production is your live system. So for example, we are using apps, whatever the apps on your app Play Store, these are the live apps, correct? So these are the production versions of it. So whatever you do is impacted or stored in the production. So these are the three different clients. Depending on the client, they might have multiple in between also, but usually you will have minimum three: development, testing, and production. And since SAP being a leader, and they have worked for last almost 40 years with the different companies, so you will see that they have solutions. It's not that they are only providing manufacturing. So you will take any industry. So for example, college admins or the academics, right? So if suppose let's take an example of Bharti Vidyapit. So Bharti Vidyapit has branches all over, right? It's not only Navi Mumbai. So Pune, probably Dubai, and everywhere. So how they will operate? So they will have an ERP. So I'm not sure which ERP they are using, but they will be using ERP to store the data of each student, teachers, because teachers are the employers of the institution, right? But then the students, you have to pay the fees. They have to store your records, right? So everything will be stored in ERP. So it's not that only manufacturing or any other industry. So you will see that all the public sector, apparel, sports and entertainment, utilities, media, all the higher education, life sciences, travel and transportation. So everything. So for example, we are using this e-commerce sites, right? Amazon and Flipkart. So whenever you log in with your mobile number, right? The background, when you go to my account, you can see all the history, right? Whatever you have ordered. That's the ERP power capability of ERP. So you can see all the purchase history. Plus, you can go to the each order and you want to suppose place a return also. So that is the power of ERP. So that is the ERP only in the background. So for the end user, you might not be know that this is the ERP, but the company will know which ERP they have implemented in the background. Yes, again, when I talk about SAP ECC module, so like I said, I am working on BP production planning. So it handles production planning and execution. So it comes both planning and execution and shop floor business processes. So as soon as the requirement comes in, the planner will do the planning, how much to produce and when, right? So most of the time they will do the weekly planning. So in this week, how much to produce. So once they decide that okay, this quantity is to be produced, then they will create a plan order. I think this might be a new information for you. So we have planned order, then we have a production order, and with the help of production order, we produce the goods. And then we have a sales order. So sales order will come from the LC. So for example, if I can tell you the example, for example, Amazon. You log into Amazon, you want to purchase something. So for example, you want to purchase a mobile. So when you place an order and pay, so that is a sales order for Amazon company or the vendor. The vendor has a message. Imagine I'm the vendor and you place the order. So I get an order of one mobile. So if that mobile is ready with me in inventory, so I'll just ship it against your sales order, and that is the order fulfillment is done. But suppose we are operating, for example, Dell example you might have heard, right? So it's like a symbol to order, correct? So when you order and then they start the assembly. So once the sales order is received, I will check what are the components has been ordered. Then I'll pick those components from the warehouse. I'll do the assembly with type of production order, and then I will put. So there are different types of production. Either you do a make to order. So once the order is placed, then you prepare or produce that good. Make to order, make to stock, correct? So that is like from the stock you pick and fulfill it. Then engineering to order to pick projects. So for example, any this ceiling or something, right? So it is not that it is already ready, or even the plan will not be ready because it is unique for each location. So first you place the order, then the engineering team will study the ground and everything, then they will design it. Then the next process will be they will start producing. Once the design is passed by all the departments, all the clearances are given, then only they will start working on the execution part. So for PP, I mean for manufacturing, there are three modules element. One is PP, then the another one is the QM. So whatever is produced has to go through the quality department because there are quality checks in place. You produce anything. For example, right now I am working for a pharma client, and pharma client is very strict because whatever medicines we are producing, that will be impacting the patient. Suppose just imagine you produce something wrong, some ingredient goes up and down, and you are playing the lives of the patient. So that is the strictness of the quality. I mean, that is the importance of the quality department. So every product we produce goes through a different quality checks. So again, in that you might have studied destructive techniques, non-destructive techniques. SAP has even provisions for all the types of techniques, qualitative, quantitative, and everything. So that will be done in quality management. The third module for relevant for manufacturing is the plant maintenance. So for example, I was working in Taloja because of soap manufacturing. So they had a big plant. So under plant maintenance, you have a breakdown maintenance, you have a preventive maintenance, and everything. So that will be done through plant maintenance. So we have a scheduled maintenance. So for example, of this building, right? If they want to check if all fans are working or not, all the lights are working or not, so they will schedule probably once in a 6 months or once in a year. That will be scheduled in the software, and then that notification will go to the probably a vendor that okay, now this is the date, you go and check. So the vendor will come, check all the rooms, and then we will write down and we will put the input in the software again. That okay, how many lights are working, how many fans are working, and then from that next action will be taken. The other modules, financial FICO, this is for finance. The SE, sales order related fulfillment. The MM is the material management, so material management, inventory, and everything. Then you have customer services. This is the end user. Then you have project systems. Again, project system might be relevant for us because project system is used for unique projects. For example, like I said, suppose they want to erect a power plant. Power plant is itself a big project, so that can be handled through this model. And the last one is relevant to HR. And these are the technical ones which interacts with all of the modules. Which is the technical language, like we have C++, Java. For SAP, it's ABAP, ABAP. So the code is written in this language. And the net river is about the role. So role is like, it's not that I log in and I get access to all the information. So the access to information will be limited as per the role. So if CEO is there, CEO will have all access because he might want to see all the information at any time. But if I'm a shop floor worker, I might not want to see what profit we have made. I want to see how much I want to produce today. That's it. So that is how the roles will be managed. Any questions on this slide? These are four I said, PT, production planning, quality management, plant maintenance, and projects.
Okay, they can't do something like
They don't go for PT primarily. Sometimes PT and QM are both used. They can go for either of them, PT or same. So these are the innovations like we have AI and ML. So SAP has come up with a different innovation. So you will see that more analytics. You have a cloud. Then you have a S4HANA which they have come up earlier. Probably this. Like I said, in 2015 they came up with the S4HANA version. So if now you use search, you will find most of the results related to S4HANA. So there's no, as an end user, as a consultant, there's not much difference. The functions remain same, but the in background they have changed the database. So they have changed this high performance analytics appliance. So HANA is the abbreviation again, high performance analytic appliance. So technically they have changed the database, but it is not much visible for the consultant end user consultant. Again, there is another solution from SAP, which is the BTP. BTP is Business Technology Platform. So, like I said, they are now using all the latest innovations like machine learning and artificial intelligence to make the enterprise as an intelligent, right? Automation, innovation, business agility. Right. So I think this is probably I will try to explain this. So what are the different projects? Do you have a subject called as project management, or was it optional? So in project management we have different project methodology, and when it comes to SAP project, there could be different projects. So for example, SAP implementation project. For example, there is a company and they are using a different ERP software, and now they want to use the SAP. So that SAP will be called as the SAP implementation project. So you are installing SAP for the first time. So that would be called as the SAP implementation. Now, what is SAP support project? So SAP support project is the company is already live on SAP. So they are using SAP, but your role is to answer or address the queries from the user, day-to-day queries. So, for example, any user business user is using, and they might face some issues. So as a consultant, we have to address or resolve those queries. So that is a part of SAP support project. Now SAP rollout project is what? Suppose I am using SAP already and I'm based out of India. But now I acquire one plant, suppose in Sri Lanka. And now I want SAP, my same SAP instance to be used there. So I will say that is a rollout because I am using this same SAP system for the another new entity. So that's the rollout project. So this is existing implementation business for a different location. SAP upgradation matlab means so SAP they are using the lower version and now they are upgrading it into the newer version. For example, if any company is using ECC and now they are shifting it to SAP S4HANA, which is the latest version. So SAP keep on updating new versions. So it's a call of the company they want to upgrade it or not. Again, that comes at the cost. If they are going for a newer version, you have to pay the additional. And SAP expansion is that expanding it to the new location. So rollout and expansion pretty much almost same. Any questions on this slide? Okay. So what is the life cycle of an implementation project? So there are different steps from start to end. So first is the project preparation. For example, we start an automobile company and now we want to implement the ERP software, right? So what is the first step in project preparation? So first, the consultant will come and they will study the site, project site. They will study the processes. Most of the time, it may not happen that you are using all the modules. Some companies will say that I don't want HR, I don't want PICO, I am using Tally or something. I want only production and quality management probably. So they will do this analysis in project preparation phase. Then the second is business blueprint. So here, as is to be analysis to be done. So you will see this term most often as is and to be. As is what we have right now, and to be is what the customer want in future. So we will do the analysis, what we have right now and what they want in future, and then in between when we compare both, we get a gap. So that gap we have to fulfill using a SAP. Then after doing the business blueprinting, we will produce the documentation that okay how we will achieve this part to be. And this documentation the customer will review, they will approve. Once they approve, then we'll move to the next step, which is the realization. Realization is a step where we start doing the development as per the documentation. Then SAP configuration of the development is done and then done after blueprint is signed off. Realization, after realization, we do the final preparation. So here we will do the testing and everything. After final preparation, the customer will again have to give a sign off that okay, everything is as per to be. Whatever they want, that is what we are giving. And after that, it is a go live and support. So go live is that they will decide one date. On that date, they will start using the news. So that is the go live and support. So after that, some other entity will take support, start giving the support. So whenever they have some queries, some dedicated consultant will resolve their incident or tickets. Okay. So probably this I have put it so for you how it is relevant. So I tell you my background. When I passed out from Bharati Vidyapit, I started working for India Limited. So, I worked for them here and I pursued my masters. After masters, I got placed with TCS. So, at that time, I did not have a background of SAP. Because I was using SAP as an user, but I did not know the whole knowledge about the SAP and the consultant part. But then when I joined TCS, I got a training. I was not certified, I got a training. So where I did my experience. Going forward. So TCS gave me a very this moment, if anyone wants to go directly into SAP, they can go for there are on the ADC authorized training center that are approved by SAP. You can go sign up for any SAP course. So as I said, you can go for your relevant course. So come from mechanical background, go for a technical or film, and then you get a train, then you get certified. So most of the agencies will give you a placement assessment that okay, can follow it and join the company. So that is one path. That is certificate. Second company, the second path is by experience. For example, if you already placed some of you get placed in manufacturing company, where you get a domain experience. Because right now you don't have experience. Because you are to get a domain experience, maybe 4 years or 5 years. Suppose if you want to, then you want to switch up to SAP, then you go for a certification, then you switch. So at that time, you have added advantage because you have a domain experience. Right? Since you have a domain experience, no practical thing. Better. So regarding to do it, it's up to you what you want to do. And then I am just given if you are really keen on learning, so there's a good platform, SAP OpenSAP.com. You can do, for example, this is a web page and it is a free learning. So like you have different learning platforms, most of them are free, some are paid. So you can just open SAP.com with the URL and go there and browse the courses and just sign up with your email ID. You can learn search by SAP or SAP and you will get the module for the thing. Go through it. And you can relate to it, then you can decide, take an informed decision. It's not just that okay, there are many branding use for the mentality is that if you go for a manufacturing, you will have to work on shop floor. IT, you will get to work in ACA office, right? But that should not be your criteria to pick a career. Right now, you choose at the start of the career, everyone has to cover. Once you get an experience, then you can play your cards. At this moment, everyone looks for experience. If you don't have experience, you get an experience, get what you want, and then you, after 3 to 4 years, you take decision, okay, where do you want to go? Either you want to go into IT part, or you still want to continue the manufacturing domain. So this is a good website. In fact, we also learn from this learning.sap. And again, you have some paid courses that are available from any questions from here?
इसको पूछना है you know the programming language.
No. So, there are two. So, I talk about this. So, when you come to technical, so technical in SAP also there are different roles. When you say technical, so technical, so there are two. One is the GRC and and when you come to SAP, you don't need to know the technical language or the programming. You know that is a added advantage. Even I, after having a experience of 10 years, I don't know the language. You are going to come to functional. You have a functional knowledge of the process, quality management, production management, what are the best practices. So your role is a functional concept. The client will not ask you to do the coding. Your job as a consultant is to get the coding done from the another consultant. So when I work as a functional consultant, I interact with the business. I understand what is their requirement, what is their end-to-end process, what are the detailed steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and how I can map those steps in SAP. Suppose I see end-to-end is working fine, then it is good. If there is some mismatch, then I approach the technical consultant, who is the developer. They can write the code, and I get that work done. I do the testing and everything. Once I know that okay, this is as what customer does, then I go back to the customer. I give demo. That's it. So you are as a functional consultant, you are not expected to code, but you should know. You should be thorough with your functional processes. Question planning and marketing and learning. And then the technical component, suppose out of curiosity, I learn that will come as a technical. The third one is combination of technical and fourth one is project management. Project management is generic. You don't have to know any model as such, but it is a project management methodology. There are different methodologies aware of. Again, probably over here, you should have minimum 7 to 8 years of experience. Because you work on the ground and then you know how to manage a project. Then you go into this. So right now, I have not reached this level. So I am into some level where I am managing a team of different functional consultants. So for example, PP, QM, and there's one of APU, the planning. So I have a team managing all these three modules and I'm taking care of them. But after a couple of years, I may want to go into this project management where I will have to deal with all the modules. SD, FI, CO, everything will be taken care in this project. Any questions?
Any question from
Time.
Okay, so being the final year student, being the final year student, how should we proceed if they have decided to go ahead and prepare?
So if you have already decided that you want to go for SAP, then you go for a certification. First, like I said, I got in SAP, the OPC, right? When I joined SAP, because I already had a job. Right now, if you don't have a job, people, there are two, either you come up with the experience of SAP, 3 to 4 years, and if you then can demonstrate that knowledge in the company may not ask you for SAP certificate because you are already answering their question. But now if you go for an interview right now, so you look for a SAP job on Naukri.com and start applying, and they could call you for an interview. They ask you one or two questions for SAP or if you are not able to answer, then they will not entertain you, right? So if at this moment as a fresher, if you think that okay, you want to go for SAP, then certification is the path. Get the training done. Probably I don't know. Finish your graduation last May. We have like couple of we can look for a training, get the training done, certification done, and then you go for it. Training
And probably what is the duration for this
I think 3 months.
and for this PT module, technically costing
Costing actually certification it's a different costing. For courses, I think it is costly around 3 to 4 lakhs.
Okay, and after having this certification,
Opportunity are unlimited.
approximately salary cost,
I think even per annum. Yeah. So at the start, you will have to. It's not that you will get a direct jump. Your basic start salary will, but you need to understand that with the certification, you need to have an experience also. So the first, whenever you get a place, the company will invest in you, right? Because you will be learning. Once you get that, in 2 years of experience, then they can jump directly 10 lakhs per annum. You get a 100% high bonus. That's not a problem. But first term, you may not get that high. It's fine. It's individual spot. We want to take. You can do the research also. Just check.
Students are joining through the online. So let me just have an introduction, the strength of the class today. First ever time. First और वो भी कंपलसरी किया उसके बाद